I thought obviously the biggest thing that stands out, you see the stat sheet, is what they shot from the field in the second half. Not only from 2-point range, but obviously from three. I mean, that was as good an offensive performance in a half that we've seen live and in person all year. Give them credit. You know, you try to protect the paint against them, and then they hurt you from the three-point line today. You know, you try to protect the three-point line, and then they hurt you on the interior. Obviously, they've got a lot of answers, both inside and out, and you know, we'll take a look at it and see how much of it had to do with us. You know, certainly you watch a lot of film coming into a game. You know, player A or player B might be struggling shooting the ball for them. Unfortunately for us today, that was not the case. And I thought that they played terrific offensively in the second half. I thought that was really the story. You know, for us, I thought taking care of the ball was important. We wanted to play with around 10 today on the road. We did that. You know, I thought that doing the best we could to try to make sure we didn't get in foul trouble with our limited depth right now was important, and I thought we did that and minimized free throw attempts. Rebounding, we were down 3 at the half. We knew how good they were on the glass and how big they are. You know, obviously it's atypical when you see a 6'9", 220-pound three-man with 4s and 5s that they keep bringing at you. And I thought it was important that we were competitive. It was 19-16 at the half there. So we did some decent things. Unfortunately, it came down to shot making. And they just made a heck of a lot more in the second half. Again, how much of that was mistakes on our part? My gut tells me a few. But to be quite honest with you, I'm going to tip my hat to them in the second half. It's easy, I think, sometimes as a coach to say, well, we need to play harder, or you guys we need to do this. And there's certainly some things that we'll look at that we can control and we'll work to get better. But this is one, again, where in the second half on the offensive end for Maryland, I'm going to tip my hat to them. Today they had a great day, and they played really well at that end of the floor. Questions?
John, theoretically, the pack line defense should allow you to pack in on guys in the lane or close out on three-point shooters. So today you had to sacrifice one for the other. Is it execution problem or? No,
not really. It was they're so good on that end and big and strong and athletic. For us right now with our depth, Rob, we thought the best thing to do was try. You saw us post trap, and it was effective at times. And then at other times it sprayed out for shots, and then you call it off, and then they go to work on you inside. And then you call it back on, and it goes back to threes. And, you know, sometimes it goes your way with that, and sometimes it doesn't. For example, I thought the first 4 to 5 times we did it, we turned them 3 times to start the game. And then they missed one that I thought we did a good job challenging. And then they missed another one that was wide open that we didn't do a good job, and they just happened to miss it. And sometimes that goes your way, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, my gut tells me, as, you know, Dustin and I were talking, and even Tracy there after the game a little bit, you know, I don't know how much of it was effort related. We'll watch the film. I thought we played pretty hard. I thought our guys wanted to play. They had practiced well. I thought they had a good energy about them. I just think, you know, again, I'm going to tip my hat to them, especially the way they played offensively in the second half. They had answers both inside and out.
John, they played small more than they typically do.
Yeah, they did.
How difficult was that to adjust to, and was that unexpected in terms of what you saw on film?
Well, you know, they always have that in their package. You know, last year, obviously, we played them at home and won the game, and they played Lehman a lot at the 4 last year. That's been, I think you're totally right. It's been a little bit different with that here of late, or this year, where they played 2 traditional bigs a lot more and sprinkled him in there. Today they played him more there. You know, do I think that was a factor in the game? I mean, obviously they played well, so it's easy for me to say it was a factor in the game, you know. It stretches the floor a little bit more when they have 4 guards in there. We play that way ourselves with Hill at times, and certainly it gives them a different look. There's no question about that.
Coach, Maverick Morgan had a career-high game. What was the deal with how he was so effective?
Mav's been coming on. He's played well. I thought he rebounded it well today. He was efficient. I thought at times he was pretty good defensively. Mav's getting better. He's just making strides like crazy. Thought J. Cole played well as well. I thought his one assist that shows up on the stat sheet, he could have had more. He created some offense for some jump shots for some of our bigs that we just didn't make. I think he's getting better. I thought Tate played well today with 6 assists, 2 steals, a block shot, and I thought he was pretty good for the most part on the defensive end. You know, obviously those are probably 3 of the brighter spots for us, but I thought Morgan was very effective, really at both ends of the floor. I thought he did a good job for us.
Can you talk about how important it will be to finish the season strong and what you plan to do over the next
Well, you
couple of
always
days?
want to do that, Rob, obviously. The next 2 days, we'll take a look a little bit today, tomorrow, so we always learn. We want to learn. And then at that point, then we learn and we move, you know, win or lose. And so we've got to do that. We'll do that tomorrow a little bit, but then we'll quickly move to Penn State. You know, with the 12 noon tip on Sunday, it's going to be right around the corner. We got to get our minds and bodies ready to go on Sunday.
Yeah, do you have any plans to? Is there going to be any like sightseeing or
Sightseeing?
anything? No.
Probably not a whole lot.
Okay.
No.
John, right here, Steve.
Yeah.
Did you see anything in particular in their defense that made you like the pick and pop tonight with Mavericks? You had a lot of success on those.
We run a lot of pick and roll, obviously, they do as well. You know, we just got some looks there tonight where we were moving them around a little bit. Mav got loose a couple times on some rotations where he set good screens. They committed to the ball, and I thought our guys, for the most part, did a good job of throwing it back when 2 committed to the ball. And that opened up some opportunities for him to make some shots, you're right. And fortunately tonight, when it comes to him, he made them. You know, we had some other ones, I thought, in the second half in particular that we didn't make, you know, where we had good ball movement. I didn't think in the first half our ball movement was quite as good. I thought we came out and the ball stuck a little bit too much. Then we kind of settled down and moved it a little bit better. Because our defense was really good early. It impacted them early. And I just didn't think we were good enough offensively to take advantage of that at that time. It was a low-scoring game before we got to the second half.
Coach, they've had trouble on the defensive boards lately. It looked like they were getting a good share of defensive boards and then going out and running. How difficult is it when they're going downhill to try to, even if you're back, to try to sort of slow
Yeah,
them
they're
down?
great in transition. Obviously, Trimble spearheads that. But they have other guys that lead the break as well, you know, for them. You know, and that makes them even faster. So there's no question, you know, the better you can defensive rebound regardless of who you are, you know, that leads you to opportunities in transition. And, you know, they're very, very good at getting out in transition because their bigs are mobile, and then they've got shooters, and then obviously they've got a great point guard.
Coach.
Thanks, guys.